Hi there, it's Ryan from DoHardMoney.com, and today what we're going to talk about is it better to buy or to build an investment property? And it really depends on your individual circumstances. Here's a couple of things to keep in mind. If you are going to build an investment property, you're going to need to act as the general contractor. Now, typically, if you're doing that, they'll only allow you to do that to get a building permit if you're planning on occupying the property. So if you're planning on hiring a general contractor, they're going to take a lot of the profits out of it, but you could act as your own general contractor. Let me tell you what I mean by this. So typically if you hire a general contractor, they're going to charge you a 10% upcharge on whatever they do to get subcontractors. So a general contractor basically goes and hires a plumber, he hires a framer, he hires an electrician, he hires the different subcontractors that are going to be doing the work. He typically has a relationship with them and he gets a bid from them. He then takes their bid and increases it by 10%, and so he'll make 10% on the project. So if it costs you $500,000 to build, the general contractor is going to make $50,000. In addition to that, if the general contractor does any work himself, for example, if he does the framing himself, then he's going to charge you for the framing at what market rates are plus an additional 10%. So he may do some finish work, he may do some framing, he may do some of those types of things and charge you the going rates plus an additional 10%. In most cases, if you're doing that type of a build job, it's going to take that profit margin out of it for you, and you'll be buying it at full retail. It also depends on what type of a property you're doing. I find lots of people when they build, they over improve the property and they make it as something they want to live in. They don't make it something that's great for a rental property. Now, let's change the scenario and say you're going to be the builder, you're going to get the permit, you're going to plan to live in the property but then sell the property in a couple of years, or you plan on renting the property out. So then you could act as an owner builder. You could go find your own subcontractors. There's some pros and cons with this. The nice thing about a general contractor giving you subcontractors is they already have a relationship with them. They already know that their work's quality, whereas if you're just going out to hire subcontractors, you don't know the quality of workmanship in most cases. In addition to that, if you don't do a good job, you're the one having to project manage, make sure they get on the project, make sure they're showing up on time, make sure they're getting the work done on time. All those things fall upon you, which is a lot of babysitting, to be honest. But it can be profitable if you do it right. And then you would move into the property. Typically, if you live in the property 2 out of the last 5 years, all that you sell the property for above what you paid for it is going to be tax-free. And so check with your CPA. That's typically the case, is it's tax-free for anything up to $250,000 for an individual, and $500,000 for a couple can be tax-free. So if you're using that strategy where you're going to be an older builder, you're going to build the property, you're going to live in the property and sell it and take that as a tax-free, that could be a great strategy for you. That said, it's typically most investment properties are done by buying a property that's already existing. You see, it usually costs more money to build that type of a property than you're going to be able to sell it for. Cost of materials can be super high, whereas when you go buy an existing home, they're not thinking about how much did it cost us to build this property. It really just comes down to what is it worth today. In most cases, if you're going after off-market properties and you're going after ones that have motivation, there's typically something wrong with the property. There's typically a roof problem or a plumbing problem or some type of a problem that's going to be expensive to fix, which means the owner is not interested in doing that. And as long as they have some equity in the property, then what they're looking to do is just liquidate the property for as much as they can. That's where we come in. We're real estate problem solvers. We're saying, what problem do you have and how can I help you solve it? The problem they typically have is the property's in need of repair. They don't have the money to do the repairs and they need cash. They may need cash for an event. They may be going through a divorce, a bankruptcy. They may be having a business failure. They may be moving. They may be just tired of a horrible tenant. Whatever the case may be, they want cash. They have a problem and I can come in and fix that problem. I typically am able to buy that property, improve the property, and sell that property for a profit or turn it into a rental property. So I would say if you're not interested in being a general contractor, if you're not interested in doing subcontracting work, then you probably are better off to buy an existing property, but you still are going to have to do some general contracting on that. You're still going to have to be a project manager to get the work done on the property. You're still going to have to do those things, irregardless if you're doing that, unless you're looking to wholesale the property. And this gets into a whole other realm of investing. I'm really giving you a toolbox here of the different ways and strategies. And the bigger that toolbox is and the more tools you have in there, the more successful you can be as a real estate investor. So on a wholesaling type strategy, you're basically finding a property that has these issues, getting it deeply discounted, and then selling your contract to somebody else through an assignment, through a simultaneous closing, double closing, whatever the case may be, and they are taking over your position. You're getting paid for that. You don't have to do work. You don't have to do manage the contractors or anything else like that. So there's multiple ways to do that. But I would say in most cases, people find an existing property that's there is better for them than building a property that they're going to be using for an investment. Hope this is helpful. Check us out over at dohardmoney.com for other helpful tips and tricks with everything having to do with real estate investing. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel where we come out with these on a daily basis of ways to get more into real estate investing. If you like it, please give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate positive comments and make it a very profitable day.